And we are back. Welcome to the SoapBox, where people who work, volunteer, and care about recovery tell us who they are and what they are most passionate about. My name is Richard Jones, RN, and I represent Parenting Your Child in Recovery.com and the home website, secondstarts.com. That's the number 2NDSTARTS.com. Today, my guest is Luis Del Orbe. He is a problem gambling prevention specialist and the director of the Council on Compulsive Gambling of New Jersey, Inc. Luis, thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Listen, I want to ask you to give everybody here the Cliff Notes version of who you are and how you got to where you are. But first, I want to say this. I'm glad you're talking to me because to me, this is a special thing. I've been in the dark a little bit about the weaponization, I like to call it, of gambling. Not that gambling itself is so bad, but I feel like it's been weaponized lately. So I'm glad to have you on because I see it in talking to the young people that I talk to. It's coming up more and more. So thank you for being here and give us the Cliff Note version of who you are, how you got here, and tell us a little bit what's going on here.
Well, like you mentioned, my name is Luis Del Orbe. I am the executive director of the Council of Compulsive Gambling of New Jersey. Now, now that you're talking about gambling, just know that the Council on Compulsive Gambling of New Jersey, we're not for nor we're against gambling.
Understood.
Okay? We do stand neutral. What we are for is for those individuals who may fall within a problem gambling area to know that there is help. Problem gambling can be a devastating behavioral routine, okay, before it becomes a full-blown addiction. Okay, and that routine can cause a lot of stress to the family, to the individual, and to society in general. So we want to make sure that individuals that may fall into this area know that there's a place to go.
Okay.
There is no need to think that whatever problems you fall in, that's it. And some people do fall into desperate situations, when they get into that area. However, that's what we're here for. We're here to provide resources, education, treatment, hope, and definitely support.
Okay. Tell me how you got here. What's your connection? How do you talk to me about the council and how this thing was put together?
Well, the council has been around since 1983.
Okay.
The number, the 1-800-GAMBLER number, has been around. It's a trademark. Is owned by the Council of Compulsive Gambling of New Jersey, and it has been operating since 1983. So we have been a source for information and a source of support, a source of hope for people who may fall into the problem gambling area for a very long time.
Okay.
How I got here, I was actually in an event, and I saw one of the workers that from the council, and they're like, "Listen, man, here we have an organization that can definitely use your help, especially in the youth area." I'm a certified social worker in the state of New Jersey, and I spend a lot of time working with youth who have behavior challenges. Okay. So this was something the council thought that I was able to help them in, to be able to bring the message of the council out in society, in particular to the youth. And that's where I started. 7 years later, I'm the executive director, and here we are in a time that gambling, is a public health issue, not just for the citizens of New Jersey, but just citizens throughout the entire state of, throughout the entire country.
Yeah. Most important and most timely in this situation. Most important, most timely. Before we go on, Louis, I want to share the show notes with everybody. Let everybody know that when we get done here, we're going to wrap this up on all the information that you need to get to. Luis, he does work in New Jersey, but I'm also going to try to put a national line up there too and see how much information, how much, what we can do to help in these show notes. And also, I didn't mention before, but he's a writer. Later on in this show, we're going to get to the book and have him talk about the genesis of that and everything. So we'll get to that. Also about parenting your child in recovery.com. Remember, if you're a parent or mentor or a practitioner who loves, cares, or works with young adults, that are at risk, in trouble, or currently in a rehab situation. This is a non-clinical option that accelerates and multiplies the results of that for a better long-term recovery. Okay. So, Luis, I want to do now is put you up on what I call my soapbox, and I want to probe your mind about the gambling thing, your issues, how your organization works, and some things. My first question for you is this: tell me, uh, how do when someone reaches that 1-800 number, walk me through what they're going to hear, and what's available to them.
Well, if you find yourself whether you or someone you know has a gambling problem,
Mhm.
or even a question, because we have a lot of people just call our helpline, just to ask about questions.
Right.
Our numbers into the helpline post pandemic, once they restricted, it just skyrocketed. Not just with adults, but with parents calling the 1-800 number
Mhm.
due to their children. So what's going to happen is you're always going to have a live person talking to you.
Good.
Okay, you're not going to call the 800 gambler number, the 1-800 gambler number, and get an automated messages. Okay? You're going to get someone who's been there, who's done that, who's able to provide you with the type of information that you're calling for. If that information, for some reason we cannot find that information, believe me, we have enough individuals on hand that they will search out that information and give it to you.
Okay.
So first of all, you're going to find a live person who's going to be able to build a rapport with you, who's going to have a conversation with you.
Right.
And we do not limit ourselves as far as, we don't have a time limit where we push people off. If you call this number, you're going to talk to someone until whatever issues that you're calling us for is resolved.
Okay.
And when we pride ourselves on that, if you're a problem gambler who is having a distress when it comes to gambling, we're going to give you resources of where to
Okay.
go. If it's to a point where you believe that you need treatment, we have a network of providers that we
Okay.
have trained in New Jersey. A number of providers right now, I believe we're at 36. Believe me, we need more,
Okay.
because our providers, this is a very prevalent situation that we're dealing with on a daily
Yes.
basis. So our providers, although they're very good at what they do have a large caseload. So we do have this 30-hour training. Once upon a time, we conducted the training in person.
Okay.
Now, another side effect of the pandemic, we now do this training virtually, so it's self-paced.
Okay.
You go in there, you take the training. It's 30 hours, and that training there gives you enough information where the clinician or the person taking the training can go and get the certification when it comes to dealing with gambling. And
Okay.
that's what you're going to get when you call the 1-800 gambler number.
Okay. Oh, as far as clinicians getting that training, is that only certain types of practitioners? Can anyone do that? How's that training available?
Well, it is available to anyone in New Jersey, and it's available on no cost. However, if you're just coming in to get the information,
Mhm.
because you just want more information, you want to be able to help other people on your own, you can do that. However, there are, the board. Uh, if you're looking for your certification to become a gambling clinician, the board that certifies you, they're looking for certain requirements. So you
Gotcha.
have to have, I believe you have to have at least a bachelor,
Okay.
to be able to move forward after you take the training. But let's say you're already a clinician who's licensed, you're a licensed clinical social worker, or just a MSW. You are ACDC, or you have your license with its license certification. You take the training. After you take the training, we will provide, New Jersey, the council will provide the supervision hours that you require to be able to take that for certification or licensure.
Okay. Well, I got you. I understand that. Uh, Another question was on my mind. Uh, run me through in your professional opinion, the the effects or the mechanism, the physiology of gambling, and the ability for people to curb those things. Talk to me about that. What's going on with that?
Gambling is designed, okay, that in the short run, those individuals that engage in gambling, they may, win here and there.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of psychology in gambling. Okay. The providers, and like I said, we're not for nor we're against gambling.
Right.
We do partner up with individuals from the gambling industry because we want to make sure that the gambling industry provides a safe environment where individuals who do decide to engage in gambling, have a safe platform in which to,
Right.
or safe environment in which to exercise that right to engage in this form of entertainment. Okay. However, there is a lot of psychology in gambling. The longer you gamble, and the way a lot of the operators work is that they want to keep you there for as long as possible. Take here in New Jersey, Atlantic City,
Mhm.
or even in Vegas. When you sit there gambling, what is the one thing that you get a lot of free of? You know,
Yeah.
Liquor.
Right. Yes.
They keep bringing you drinks, and they want you to be comfortable. They want you to say, listen, I don't want you to get up and get your drink. You come up, in here. The environment is set in a certain way to make you feel,
Mhm.
comfortable. You're not going to find no clocks in casinos. You're not going to find ways that they want to shorten your stay. Okay, so the longer that you gamble, the more likely that you will lose. Okay, you're not going to go into any casinos or uh, and try to beat the house. Okay,
Yeah.
one thing that we encourage people to do is educate themselves when it comes to gambling and gamble responsibly, regardless of and some states are really working hard, the legislature working hard and trying to make sure that there are certain guidelines, so certain protection for
Mhm.
individuals to engage there. But however, it does not take away your own personal responsibility of keeping yourself safe. Okay. The only way we can curve the problem gambling rate that we're experiencing now is for individuals to make educated decision on this. This is a personal choice. And
Yes.
that's one of the things that we do. Besides bringing awareness uh, to the problem gambling, one of the things that we do is we encourage responsible gambling.
Okay.
We encourage individuals, to set limits,
Mhm.
to set limit with time, with money, not to gamble alone, which is one of the reasons why sports betting and gambling online is so dangerous.
Yes.
Because people tend to do this in their own little environment, and they do
Mhm.
it alone. And sometimes you may gamble longer than you planned,
Mhm.
gamble more money than you plan to gamble with,
Yes.
or you may end up gambling with money that you cannot afford to lose.
Mm. Yes.
Because you sit in there. So one of the things we do: don't gamble alone. And if
Okay.
you gamble with someone, gamble with people that you know. Gamble with family members.
Okay.
They know your financial situation, and those family members may pull you back if they see that you're
Right.
heading down the wrong path.
Okay.
So yes, when it comes to gambling, there's a lot of pitfalls, and we do encourage individuals to educate themselves as much as they can when it comes to the psychology of gambling. This way, they're able to protect themselves.
Okay.
That's important.
Talk to me about what I see is the association or associations made with gambling now and our regular video gaming, as you talked about before, with also substance abuse and how those things kind of round robin into each other, you know?
To this day, and then it's incredible. Here we are in 2025, and with as much information as we have, there are a lot of individuals that do not recognize gambling as a legitimate addiction.
True.
They say, listen, you're not putting nothing into your body. You're not taking no substance in. There's nothing that's stopping you. It's just behavior. All you got to do, just stop if that's the case. But people don't understand the mechanism of how gambling works. Okay. And how the reward center in your brain works. Gambling is meant to engage you, to keep you in there. So, video games, what do video games do? Same thing. Once upon a
Mhm.
time, I was able to buy a video game, bring it into my house, and I'm playing the video games with people, within my circle.
Right.
Now, video games are free. You take Fortnite and you take all these other video games. These are free platforms for you to join, and I can play with someone across the world. Okay. So it becomes so engaging, and the way the
Right.
mechanism works is that, let's say I want to build a certain ranking in a certain game. That ranking is going to be based on how long I game for.
Okay.
So I have to log in hours and hours into this game. And the more hours you log into the game, especially for youth, we have to understand the youth, their brain is still under development.
Yeah.
I mean, brain development. It
Okay.
is said
Yes.
that the brain becomes fully developed at what, 25?
Right.
The age of 20. Well, I don't know if you've seen some of the scientific studies. They
Yeah.
for men, they want to raise it to 35. So
Maybe a good idea.
so the youth, with their brain being under development, the mental nutrition that they get, that the children receive, the young people receive during that stage of life, is crucial
Hmm.
on how they will develop in the future, or how they're developing into adulthood. Okay, so a person that games for a long period of time, they're sacrificing that time where you're not wasting time, right? You're not wasting time because you don't know time,
Right.
but you're wasting the opportunity the time is providing, in where, yes, you're playing video games. However, what are you neglecting?
Right.
And individuals that get caught up in this video game cycle, you have some kids that'll game 7-8 hours a day.
Yes.
And there's some parents that says, well, at least I know where he or she is. And we go by that. They're home, they're safe.
Hmm.
But the mental nutrition that they're receiving,
Okay.
especially with games that have gambling like mechanics, these kids are actually being conditioned. They're training themselves. These are the future gamblers. These are the future problematic gamblers that the system is going to produce. So you have a thing where now you have the word gambling and gaming being used interchangeably.
Okay. That's
Not something the gaming
that's
industry.
interesting.
Yeah, listen, and you have heard it. Gaming, gambling.
Hmm.
So when it comes to gambling, by calling it gaming, now you implying that there's a skill base to this. Okay, it's not gambling, because gambling is a thing of chance, right? Random. So let's call it gaming. That means if you're good at it, you may be able to make money.
Okay. I
So
got it.
that is the issues that we have when it comes to youth, and the gambling platforms that they're playing on nowadays.
Okay. Very interesting. That association, how you put that well, gambling, gaming, they're sort of molding your perspective, and also, but with the same traps involved, even though your perspective may be molded, the same traps there are still there. That's
Yes,
that's interesting.
definitely.
Question for you. You mentioned to me when we talked before and just prepping for this show about the CPR thing. I was very interested in that, and I didn't want to go too much into it. I wanted to have you kind of go over it. It's a great, you know, a way of thinking and rationalizing what's going on here.
Yes. Well, uh, the Council of Compulsive Gambling of New Jersey, like I said, we have been around since 1983.
Okay.
Basically, we have been very heavy on the treatment side of what we do.
Okay.
We try to balance treatment with prevention. Now, we are state funded by the state of New Jersey,
Okay.
and the state, our contract monitors, asked us once we came out of the pandemic, because we saw the increase in numbers. We have to report these numbers to the state
Okay.
as far as gambling, problematic gambling behaviors within the state of New Jersey, and we saw the increase when it came to the youth. So they asked us to get more into, or at least devote more of our resources to the prevention side.
Okay.
In response to that, what the council did is we created a program. It's called CPR. I know people heard you say CPR, but it actually stands for Cognitive Perspective Restructuring.
Okay.
Okay. It is said that a human child by the age of 7 will have developed a belief system. Now, what is that belief system based on? We're talking about a 7-year-old human child.
Mm-hmm.
So by that age, the only thing that you're basing your belief system is on the influence that you receive within your environment, what people tell you, what people expose you to, uh, the type of experience that you have. That's going to shape you. If you receive bad information as good information, you're going to have a distorted belief system. So the CPR program is geared to help youth between the age of 8 to 18.
Okay.
And the purpose of the program is to elevate the participants' level of consciousness. We believe that if you elevate a person's level of consciousness, doesn't matter what age, because you continue to grow and learn
Mm-hmm.
throughout life. If we're able to elevate the participants' level of consciousness, we believe that they'll be less likely to do something that will go against their best interests, like developing a gambling addiction.
Exactly.
So if we give the information on self-awareness, the CPR program deals with self-awareness.
Okay.
It deals with self-development. We deal with topics on emotional intelligence, core values, how to prioritize things in your life.
Mm-hmm.
We help them build a life plan. Okay, we allow them to be able to create an identity. And then once they create this identity, then be able to say, okay, this is the man I want to be, this is the woman I want to be.
Okay.
We're talking about children
Right.
or young adults. What do I need? What character traits do I need that's going to support my identity? So we guide them through the process, and we make sure that they're able to make enough effort to be able to align who they are with what they want. And then we ask that they be an active participant daily. Uh, the CPR program is based on 4 elements. Okay.
Okay.
1, know who you are. 2, create a life plan.
Mm-hmm.
3, buy into your plan, because we know the subconscious controls 95% of our life.
Right.
So we need to not just believe in the plan that we have. We need to buy into it. We
Mm-hmm.
need to train our mind to say, you know what? I'm going to accomplish this no matter what. And the 4th element is that we say do not go a 24-hour period without doing at least one objective
Mm-hmm.
that will help you achieve your plan. So the CPR program is based on that, and we hope that the seeds that we're planting into our youth will, in time, harvest, bloom, and hopefully they will harvest the good information that will come from that seed that
Okay.
we're planting now.
Excellent. Listen, I want you to go on with that for a second, but I just want to say, uh, this show is not about piping my own horn only in the breaks, but you're dead on with the parenting your child in recovery mindset and program. I just want to say that. How do you introduce this to young people? What forums? How do you get an opportunity to introduce this to young people?
Well, the program, tell you the truth, has only been around for about 18 months.
Okay.
And in the past 18 months in the state of New Jersey, we have exposed a program or created the program where over 6,000 students have gone through the program or have been exposed to the information.
Wow.
Yeah. So we go into the school system and we offer it to some schools. One of the school systems that we offered here in New Jersey that we did an entire school year with was the school district in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Okay. And how how the school district structured it, because we modify the program based on the entity's needs. If we go into the school, we usually go to the school through the health classes. So we'll give those health classes during that school period the information about CPR, and they become our participants in the CPR program. We also have programs that are right now in full force when it comes to court-involved youth. These are youth that have already in the legal system. They are on some sort of supervision through the family court because they committed a crime or they did something that called for the legal system to step in. One of the counties refer now their youth to the program,
Okay.
and we do this continuously. So the program for those youth that are at high risk, is a
Okay.
10-week program.
Okay.
So school, we do a 5-week program. With schools, because they're much limited,
Hmm.
and they have a limited amount of time. So we do a 5 weeks, because this is not a thing where we come and talk to the youth and just simply give them information and set them out.
Right.
No, we want to make sure that we're there for amount of time, and then we provide follow up. They
Okay.
can call our helpline, uh,
Okay.
and they stay in touch that way.
Okay. And that's an excellent program and mindset. I've got to say that. Real right now, let's remind everybody that in the show notes we're going to be talking about the program in New Jersey, and we're going to be talking about. I will have some information, hopefully, on some national numbers if we can get it, because Luis is basically his company. Is it? Could I call it a company? What should we call the entity? It's not the actual state, right?
No. We the Council of Compulsive Gambling is a private nonprofit organization.
Got you.
That's what we do. The pioneers that established or founded this company, was really ahead of their time. They
Yeah.
they they're not. We're not dealing with what they were dealing with at the time, but they had the foresight to see what was coming, and they
Okay.
put this they put this organization together. As you know, most nonprofit, they come out of passion.
Yes.
And back then, these pioneers, they had the passion to help the problem gamblers, because the majority of them, they had lived experience. And today, the the people that work here at the council are very passionate people, and we have a large number of them who have lived experience, and are
Okay.
able to reach out to the population and do this. So we are a nonprofit organization, yes.
Excellent. Remember also, if you're a parent, mentor, or practitioner who loves, cares, or works with young adults at risk, in trouble, or currently in a rehab situation, parentingyourchildinrecovery.com. It's a non-clinical option that accelerates and multiplies their results, leading to a long time and permanent recovery. Uh, Luis, we're going to go to the last section of the show. And what I want to ask you about is, earlier we talked about some of your passion. Let's follow up on that, because you wrote a book, and
Yes.
I think it has some of the principles that you as a director help lead with. So talk to me about that.
Well, the CPR program is, like I said, is based on certain concept, right?
Right.
We are trying to bring awareness to individuals as to the pitfalls that may be into gambling.
Mhm.
However, regardless of how much information we give out, regardless of how much regulations the state may impose upon the gambling industry, in order to make sure that it does create a safe environment,
Right.
gambling, the decision to gamble is an individual decision.
Right.
So I would have to say drove me what drove me to do what I do is my history.
Okay.
The fact is, the CPR program is part of who I am. Okay. Uh, I believe that self-awareness. It is said that only 10 to 15% of the population is self-aware. I
Hmm.
believe that self-awareness is the key. It has been for me.
Right.
Once I find out who I was, once I gave myself an identity, and if
Hmm.
you ask me who I am, I will tell you that I am a family-centered man. I am a lifelong student of life. I function with integrity and firmness, and I strive to live life to the best that my experiences dictate. That's how I describe myself. It took me 4 months to come up with that definition. And
Okay.
this is what this is what my book is about. I believe that if we develop this self-awareness, if we grow as an individual, we're able to make these decisions that are in our best interest.
Hmm.
And falling into an addiction is not in our best interest, regardless
Exactly.
of what it is. regardless whether it's gambling, whether it's substance use, whether it's alcohol, whatever it is. Okay, certain habits that we create for ourselves and certain things that we do on a daily basis, they shape who we are. They shape our thoughts. They shape our interaction with people. So with us being able to develop that self-awareness, we're able to be constantly reminded of, listen, we need to be able to make good decisions in order to maintain this, because it's not just a point of making it. We need to maintain it once we make it. And this is what it's about. Personal growth, man. Personal growth. I'll share something with you and with your viewers that I guess I was not in. I had no intention of doing it, but I'm an ex-offender.
Okay.
I'm a returning citizen. I was incarcerated from the age of 22 to the age of 48. And the reason why I was able to come out of prison the way I came out of prison is because of my mindset that was developed while being in prison. Okay. I was a terror going in. My first 5 years were terrible. But then I had individual, mentoring works.
Yes.
Whether, I know, NA, AA, GA, they all use sponsorship. That's a mentor. Mentorship works. And mentorship helps transform individual. Right. So I have mentors inside the prison and out who was able to help me transform into the person that I am today. And this is why I'm so passionate about this. This is why I work with the youth, because I know if we give the youth the tools for them to be able to manage themselves, they're going to do well.
Yes.
They're going to do well.
I agree with you 100%. Your passion is felt. I appreciate you coming on and shedding a little light on this, which is, to me, as prominent as it is now, it's going to become even more prominent. So I commend you guys for what you're doing with that school program. Look like you're making a great headway. You're only 18 months in and you're already making a dent. So I commend you with that. I love your mindset. Like I said before, parentingyourchildinrecovery.com mindset is very similar to the very principles that you said. So I'm glad to hear you say that and talk about that. We appreciate your leadership, and we appreciate what you and the council are doing in New Jersey. And hopefully, if you're seeing this from another state, see if your state has this. And if they don't, maybe you need to nudge somebody, because this gambling thing is everywhere now. It's not just Atlantic City anymore. It's everywhere. So it's on every iPhone now, so it's to be paid attention to. So
most definitely. I definitely want to thank you. Like I said, we have a very passionate staff that if they don't do what they do and the way they do it, they will not be as effective as we are. The Council of Compulsive Gambling has, it has passed the test of time. And we're going to continue going here. The 1-800 number is going to be there. It's not just for New Jersey. Anywhere in the United States, if you call 1-800 Gambler, you're going to get a live person. And if you call from anywhere you are, and you can say, you know what, whoever answers that phone says, listen, can you reroute me to New Jersey? I want to talk to Luis, or I want to talk to one of the prevention specialists over in New Jersey because I want to have information. Call us.
Excellent.
Call us, and we're here to help. And remember, if you or someone and we always end with this, if you're someone has a gambling problem, give us a call. We're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to provide hope, treatment, and support.
Excellent information. Thank you so much, Luis. I want to tell everybody in the show notes, we're going to have all this information we can. We'll have a link to Luis's book. We'll have all the links to New Jersey, the Gambling Council. So again, thank you so much. I'm a guest. This was great. And it's just on point with where I thought this show needed to go. So I appreciate that so much. I want to say on behalf of myself and Luis, in closing, like we always say on this show, please remember, let's get out there and help somebody get better, help somebody stay better, and most importantly, let's help somebody be better. Thank you. Goodbye.